Biya Kamal ka Nuer Online TV channel ke jan gwasame abantin kona lat ka rodien re wicha ka South Sudan bana kelinkel bana Dr. Machar bana case de bana jogor kel bi kontin lat ka rodien en wale kon wala chanka jandang ro widero ka pai bang maron kin dang ro jen dang ro diech bu kon lat ko rodi re wejen wala ka South Sudan bana nywa kel ko gur kon court case dung riek machar be nung tindi ala kon dong bunong ya mo internet dan we ro re ka batin kon lat ko ren baka nywa ya kel ka jen broadcast meni ka je pero jen o yen biya me biya nywa ni ko ken ko biya tin kon lat ko rodi en biya kula ngajen o ken ka nguni no batin diala kon tin dong to re wejen wala ka juba na baka nywa ya kel ko te ka tungwan long to goro de yen kelin ke te goro de kelin ne dial nywa ka broadcast me kane dial ko ken ko banti dial kon lat ko din wale re wi ke juba bana kelin kel te ka tungwan long to goro de ling no shit ke ta dana dong ba luk ba je luke je de ko laro ne ne ana ka doran shwal ke i ka juba murai ko na tama te ka tungwan ya kapchong kane ya kapchong toni baka nywa ya kel ko go rejan wo biatin diala konte lat ko rodien no biya kaling re wichin winemi ko te tong walung to goro bana kaling ala tok an wale ke jen shanga meni ken Dr. Machar ken no gwada danan ba jo lukten an wale jo jen wo cha campus ki gwada danan menti student etin re wich ke juba ngai kone ala gadul gorka no chadul gorka din cha ya kapchong an tam ke juba ala university jen nen yana gwasmoni char diala to chaga kapchong ke jen kwil wakan ba lugan wale ko gore jeno bi kon diala patient ketin kon lat rodien bi kon ngajeno ala court case en wale immediate gore liang kene dial chika wo ngai kone kir mi yadit charo de realika no betung wan bege cherke ye kel tin kon en chalat te ga de chalat gwasa menetin content ka kume SPLIO dong de ran dong de jogoro no brode lingaka katin kon lat ko rodien achang bana tin dialan kon dong balad wala chang ci kono banyu akel ban at least tin kon lat ko rodien tama bana ke linkel shit ko ngai konen wo en Dr. Machar bo gwalok en wala shit ke jan ta bon wana men tama ta bon wan miteke 25 no bo wore lok gwada dan waje luktin neden content ba ka lukel wa charen realika bo ban ngoda kanan ne lad no me dong chaja toki kan ne tok ban ma ngai kon right now o be kon ngaje no atina tiketin te ka mishalat gwasa me ba nyaka ya kel no re wichin winemi anetin kontila kumas pilaiwo no ka do badanan ba ke zame ba je gorkeje ke do badanan ba luk mene ba je lukeje baje nyaka ya kel an jodan chalat gwasa me en ramadan dong biya jo me biya je linkaje netin kontin la activist ki netin kontin ngai kon ken wo dong let ken long ka do badana ba ke zame ba je win keje ngai kon diale ano te ke juto wante lat ka rodien be gorno be no jom chalat James gade daklam poate ke jom chagor no ka ngade de ka timeline de ka Facebook so gore jeno beje nyoka ye kel bani ngai kon James gade daglam par no jen arami mo mecha kon yen ne ka gwaze dan ngaje tin kon lat ka rodien re wich kai ka juba ki do badan ba ke zame ja ba je follow up keje gore jeno ene biya lerti biya nyane ko ken bam lwanga ko de let ke en wala beje lwang amat shit ko dong be nung tin kon lat ka rodien ko ke zame jen win mon ke le linga mo wale kene bikana broadcast ke SSBC joran kalat micha je bani la dio jan wo ba nyaka ye kel amadan bikana lat chen bunong video radio be nong jowda ka gwada danan che to ko je mu to gwaza me James gade daglam par jen ramkel micha yen ka gwase dan bat ko jo ma ko je le nyakan wale ka changa jan dang rawi da raw changa jan dang rawi da raw ka jan pai bang maron kina dang raw jan dang raw diech no chit kamana to ajene normal court proceeding ke do badan la normal ko la ja lat ke je ajene maniam la hearing session la ja to ke do badan ba nonsense ba je lat ke je la opening statement bedetin no bi netin content going ke Dr. Machar la ne self kir ma yadit no bi ken present kenyam ke ba charges netin content ku ken Dr. Machar ku ken cha keje bi ken ko lat kenyam of course ngayene no netin content la lawyery ke judges ten kon chunkel ke self kim yadit kon court case ame ngay kon dialan wo malat ke kir lede je ko jen be Dr. Machar be je yen ki be je nang duel yen ka so ngay kon mishit kana mo jen nan yam wa biken ta dana chike Dr. Machar chikene gwain ke je ana biken ka kon lat ken yam before telemission lat are ler kana meni ka jo chalat gwase me James Gade Daglam Puar ke kui Dr. Machar gentleman yam be judges biken ta dana be hearing but let ke je ki jo wana ba link court biken a kon person ba je lat ba je la ne konti la judges tin banawo nyam dien no jene ka kore michi netin kontin la ne self kem yadit chike kezen chiken president gwadme chiken charges netin konin ba Dr. Machar ke chikereng Machar ken chai keke no biken kalat ne kontin la jilok ka kore benetin kontin la ne Dr. Machar la legal team ke defense team lawyer no tin kwa Dr. Machar kwa ke defense kwa je defense no biken man lat ken biken ko nyoko let ken and when mon duno chikala do maybe ka kore no dong ba tini ba kul lat ke gen jurisdiction and an lat ka ngaktin ki man ba lara court biken kul lat and case bina wede wa meken ka satisfied ka jodan lat ka gwate me gwe ke jen wo dong they can reject ka jodan chalat ke jen the judge after receiving the charges may adjourn the court hearing for another day or a week etc ala miche can judges can satisfy kamana lat kenetin content case den she present ala need content going ke Dr. Machar ala ne kim yadit miche can wo can need kon la judges ke jilwo can nok ke can wrong lojen wa bi can hearing me bi can nyoko menang kan youth kan jok there are cheng there are niro there are jok so kwai keje so de kana nyokom use kana joko bokolo teke more detail te bablat and gwa dan lat ke lukomotin chajo me chajo kwen gwasmene meradian gwasme alamen lat ke lungo gor ke jeno are logan wala der le la fair okay ko mi wona wo do badan lo ke Dr. Machatin no katin kona lat karodian ba jojeno mi Latin charing Machar cha ke chai ke joba ko kon weekend ya ba ka weekend yal sometime one case mi chikene me mi don ken rong loinat wa gurje en wo dong der tene ka pet bani ka jo dana chalat wala tuoga no wa be court we can judgment we can ketin content ba present ka ke cha jo mo cha jalat ka do badana dong dem chikene me der to ke je James Gade Daglam Puar legend leda experience de ka gwade dane cha yen ke je ko ngai kon me cha je yen dio je Jeremy August 15 2017 gwade dan ka chu ke ze chu tong ne ka jen February 12 2018 jen la to ka lug de ka chanka wal de ka pai badak ron kin dang raw wi de wel baro chu ke ze chu tong ne ka chanka wera ka pai raw ron kin dang raw wel badak alo Jeremy cha tene ka pat dial de ko larno atoga kajen pai badak dong Jeremy a pen ngwan ki pet diejbo reti jen and James Daglam Puar James Gade Daglam Puar gwade dane chaje yentin of course jen take experience katin kon lat karodian chere mangai kon la togo no tete ngwan long te bej at lat karodian tama so re chit kediti an walle chere men ngai kontin kon lat karodian katok ala case Dr. Machar me kondial kone kon la chalen wer ngai kone gwad danen tuoga tin ke gwad dan witen en riek Machar ramimo mi cha tidial cha ka yajwide eni dwor melat ke cha yajwide ngai kone no mo ko gwan ke je katisha tok katin kon we kanen wo dongde ken kum de ken yen ke je ken te kon te kel ke kirma yadit so mi ge ken wona me chie chuong ka do badana dong di ngwan de galat ke je Riek Machar ram kel mi goro de malder bere wike South Sudan ram goro dong de ne dial de kapar bacha je kulo nok akil mi yadit in state kil mi yadit che targenin wore chana men wo joka met gwa do kon kamli ko rwai ni meni mului kon joka jen 2013 yedan chana ti jal chana kangai mena kan wori riek machar me dan me bukor bakula tuok jen chaja wikene cabinet ni kadial ka jen 2013 e dan no do be dan e woy ka jen ngai kon diale yala do jen baro de chung la kuer ana mo chaja luk kirm yadit no ci kon dial ti ano chana keling kodi te diale kon lat ke kirm yadit gore jeno ko riek machar ko bombe ko jawo chere mangai kon diale no mi ci to ke 2013 ci kon diale ngaje no tele mi cha lat chitke o de dong de kir de jetich ka do badan e ci korche to ko je tele mi cha lar mi de kular no shi kir mi yadit tero che responsibility ka ta yedana ci na liu ke je che jakan nene je ngai kon ke 2013 nuare chop ke 20000 25000 woniam cha kan nak rewi ke juba ke 5 days karodian 5 day karodian cha nuare ti chop ke 25000 cha kan nak no ka ping nen dial te kon de ci lore which ka South Sudan ke liu jala do 400,000 people cha tegden cha je bat an gwade dane ci korche tokten so ngai kon dial ci tine ano angu milet kirma yadida me chere ma char che juire wi ke juba ci kon dial nen en wari ci ga jogo no yen chwa jien kore me akamda kon de ne karoda ko akamde kene de ni cho gorno jen ben wari buga te gonte kon ne tekitin chu kan chun wari te kon te ci lugno ken ke unimis ko ne unimis teten ko ngai kon dial no wona ke unimis a very important ko te ji wan tekitin de ting na de kana gang ne te to te kon de ci kan ne te kon te chu ko unimis ne te ci lu dur ken ko cha ga jogo no chwa jen okay dio je ci kon me cha la de kir me yadit ka state television dung SSBC la South Sudan broadcast television ji kon me dane chala chana yene gwade charo mo ka kaneten rajen wone ne a jene kaneten content charik chaje lat a jeno ba ka joy ke ba ka gor chaling no jene Michael chayo do kanye kron cultural center gwada na tie ke gere de ni no dio je de kolat gwada na tie ke de kon shole chirge mestamanin no ka jen Central Equatoria so an gwada money ke gwada na tie ke jam juba so me chama chaje yotin gwati ke nyekron culture center so kon diala nenen wo e jeni chama chaje yonon gwada mo inete toko kor e dakring machar but chijen point kir ma yadi de jen la duorone jen che de ni ka chaga jak wa body gani dakring machar wa ka disam chike mi chitwoga ka jen pai diogon pai wa no ka jen 2025 me the same thing again dan chitwo gwada dan kan la nok kore chu ko jin mu wuju kuer ke nyam rami mo mu kabe kabne ne dial pin amering machar ka wo chiring machar chela ro jen baro de chunga la kuer so na mo we can no justice cho kor cho je tok cho je lar no mi chit ke 1991 charge bu nyoko mu loy ke je e kir me yadi lar mi chine mo ci kon dial nen e television gwade dan ro jeten a jen mi chit ke 1991 che buto why me let kir me yadi lar mi chine na mo ne jen a systematic way minnak na nuare keje ci konet nuare ngwan ci keliu ci kanak of course this che mi chit ke 1991 ta nan ku kon me to 1991 but what I know so far ki man chakwen ne te konte to ko kor o cha nuare cha kanak jarol nuare ya kanak wudi shal ke kol manyang juk wa che jarol ci kanak jarol nuare ne ti ngwan ci ken kanak ka gwaze dan you know ere kore dan me ci to ka je 1991 mo ko chireng machar kene jon garang da ma biur shika gwach and when dan of course a kor nyini de ne tel civilian ya nek so ne te kontre nyin ka ngana kanetin kon tila de but cha ka lat wi dakreng machar kente chirketine yala rieng machar je ramadan en to kor so ngai kon of course no kor mi je to la te krik but kane kien neten kon tin la jang kan ka kon target teram cha target but the duo mi mogur kan jen wo ba nuari ba kan ke je so teram do dien mi le rode gero kwa target nuari ke mi sia tok ke mi la bang mi sia tok ti man ngai kon diale ano chuno mo chu tok ka kore chi kon benen o cha je bijega no me dane cha la de kir mi yadi chi tok of course kir che guje no te kas ngade mi dide long mi dong dara man dana le da je lat ke je ko che ne ke ga train men ne ti mala ala ne ke tila jang ko ba Nuer ba ga target ngai kone cha jang tung one especially to contain do kolare de ni militia de train point de kir me yadit ko ngai jen wo be riek ba jelat kan wore ko ngai te konte lat Carodian ko en South Sudan ka gwade da ne ka jen 2011 me by independent by ko jek ci konton wan chana kanen wona ko before that ci point kir ko ken te ko na ka 1991 1991 do mi ci do jok en point wude chal ke me garang de ma bir ko lela ne di chop ko di chen nako kan wore yen wore wan che kan and they know ka ka bong ne sha ka garpin ni la civilian shi lela de ni ngwane Dr. Machar jen ke de ni ka ne ga te konte nyin ke de ni self ke me yadi shi ke civilian kan civilian do me kur civilian me de laro na me riek but ko Dr. Machar jira Ramadan en shagu no bade di albaga yajwide kir me yadit ko do badana ngai kone je gwasmeni no charik dial chaga ladwide ka do badana kir chegwi ke je en wojen ba ring Machar ba je nanga code of course ring Machar cha nanga ko loro bang nanga je ko chinwore tin kon lo ke ring Machar charen mat ke kuiko bi ke query bi ken kule je so mi chira mo dio jen wo shi chong emi jek ala gor kan mal rewi ke South Sudan cha gori kur amal gor ko mone so gwada me ko gor jeno ban betere bu kon galin kel gwada me na hold on okay
then we have Mading Yak, then Dominic Gatko, then Yak. So these are some of the accused in this very special court that
okay gwasame Ramadan andong de raniti de gelel ke je ko chala do balat ke SSBC anta cha ken lo chicken ngoda ken ben live atera me mashi ben live gwadam batchela na di da dien so che ko le jack ko chana gorno bajeling madan le ro gwasame okay SSBC ngoda wo kon kamilin kone ko gor kon bandin kon lat ko ren banakaling kan na me kan lat la SSBC ta kan ardi na tamba ngora kan network goro je an de jowde de kulno ko de yeneling kamisha de news and change and then goro je no beje nyaka je kel ban gwasa me ko gor ko bantin kon lat ko din ban ka ngaj no gwasa me mala update no char dial right now chakan dial chaka gak no char me ne yene me char cherme do banan wuka ka jam Juba la University of Juba charge gek kan ti dial kan ben charo jamo charge lat ko ngoren tam limna ko ba da kuma char be chub gwada dan dong titi dial tiketin but right now not yet kan it content en wenamo no kan mission me kan lat no be chub ka ta de ki mi chub but la dub dial chara clear out and kan dub dial content en wenamo ngoda gore je am still taka jen SSBC gore jen odong de jenwa ga kel madan le roda but ken no la michi ken no gwadme den be jenwa ga kel gore jen be jen ba te kel ka ye men gwada dan michi roja me che tokten okay kontame me le roda la all the road chaka gegre wiki Juba la dupti alten kon jel na ka ke chaka gek SSPDF okay jam Juba ke le gwado mchimnen yana mo chagek tele me le roda tele me jal chi SSPDF ke National Security Forces chikan bial chikan ka block la any duom we ka freedom all ana duom we freedom all gwado mene charge gagaken so thank you guys ke touch ya ben ke Germany gurin channel ke je okay ngode ngo time kana na ngajan ta mandana dong be to ke je goje nyinkun ya la konte dong gorin ga gwasame I will be sure to reply to you cause micha dwarshanen banyo ya kel gwada me taka goje tin content dong lat korin gwasamen kini dial kontin dong ku reply te kitten konter wacha gwasame ne anan kun ka do badana dong biangan bia gor ke jene bia kamal kan Nuer Online TV channel kan kono niam yene dial tin kon mi jiram jidit gwasme please gorno bi lere me bi janyani ko kien ki nyak mi shirna me ko ba janga jene konde kan channel de kan gor na tin kon lat ko rodian rai wi ka South Sudan en case me malat kon meni kui Dr. machar ka do badanen ba nan ka court ke jeshit kamelin kon men go we ka court nang Dr. machar ka court again first time in history ko bi Dr. machar bala ramadan na mandong banang are lokan wale ngai kon dialen go teachit kriti gui kon ngan go chikan do de lat ke charo de tuk but anyway cha tro cha ka jako ba ka non kon ka do badan ngai kon eje gui kon dong no wen dong shi kirm ya di chem chen me che de lat but unfortunately chen me che non ko bi kon diale witness ketin kon lat korodian bikona ngach anu en wale chang mi changa jandang ra widero kapai bangwan ron kina dangara wide jandang ra wide diech do badan en baring machar baje nang gwalu ka je ajan len kona magwasmene dub dial shaka gak chiraman ngai kona tela do mi jalna tin tam no diyen en gwasme bajalat gwasmene biaje kure guje gwa we are reporting live in case dong mi gor kono dong de konde kolat krodin de kon keling thank you yene dial kontin gwish ke manda le rode re which ka juba ka kwi court case dan lat ke kwi reng machar en walle kan ne dang bakel ki badaktin ko kientin kontin banangwalo ka jekel ala gwadanan ba luk baje latin men shal ke gwadan shalke freedom all jan gwadanan ba luguma ba jalatin according to manana shalat gadet James gadet lampwar chela do lugan yaman balat gwasame jene cha butong ne jen case ken yam ba bikir mi yadit bikan gonya goin kana Dr. machar na bikan konlat bajela de ken and go men yan ke Dr. machar na me ki manang jaga court ke je misit kana men and then after that michigan ngaje gwan go chi dunian jikana president and michigan kon la judges michigan no kon manana chala de ken pankin ne kon la ne kirm yadit coach and tam ala kura me toga kam SSPDF leader ne kirm yadit kana Dr. machar kan it kon dong rajan wale ko la kirm yadit chak Dr. machar kamo biring machar brodo kula defend kenyam case me binetin kontilan ne kirma yadit ba case dien ba je president and wale bikana lat no kadwo badan bikana lat keje then yo machar no koneti kon la judges and wenamo no binetin kontilan ne Dr. machar la team dien no bikan case dien bikana kula nyokami bikana president and wale ka court and anan ba lat re wiki juba gurkon tidialati ko bana tin lat karodi re wika Southern bana kangach eno case me case ne dial especially ko lan weren ko la yimle den wala kenede kon dong de attention and there tin de kan mandan le roda de kan ngach no biya kamala nyoge ne dial content go ka roina gwasame ko bi quantity bana kalat alamen gur ke lengo de South Sudan der te kamal de ne dial de kan te kamal mgwa no mi shi case che wegwa de mal me de la mal mgwa de na no shiken de le shoot no de la na mal ban mo kir me yadi we jalat ka do mi dong sha jenele lo dong bi case ba wejak bi kon dial ngaje no en mi shit kana me balari mi di de long chebuka do badana gui kone jene won ko sometime alab dor mulat keje la gwano ba mandan do bulat keje ba je kon ngai keje ngai kon na wal na ka gwase dan en kirma yadit kene Dr. machar na ka gwase dan shi kon ngaje no shi ka mal shi kana kola de ne ke jen 2018 ngai kone but ka kore shi kana ben gujalo kan kana lat en mishire na mane so dare kula gwadi anu bikir mi yadit ba mal mi cha tanya ken ba jele be lok ke ba jele be yar kana tin lieb ke jeno jaram dan dong de mal de je implement no so ngode kan kon tele kon full information right now katin kon lat Caribbean live kon SSBC news ko de kan kon nong mandan le rode ko chala do kan ne content tin be broadcast live ngode kan nong tin gwada me ken ken ko ken ashima tin content tin dong de kon goro no de kon keling alat kan te pan ken tin content work re wichin wale re wik ke juba ngode kan alat liep kon ke long nyok chikan la do ne kene chikan ji Uganda amenene ti konti la ji ji Kenya chicken ga jogo no de ga loko de kan stream live re wichin winami take a report mi chicken lat gwasa me de je dong mi sha jek report mo lat ken re wi ka juba gwa de chicken gorten eno ba Dr. Machar eno ke ne dial content cha yen kel bikan an trial me bikan nung live ka live video ano ko chicken ne ngwan jiken ka ti ken no de ka lok ka do badan dong de ne me de je nyodu mon ka je che ma ngai kone en team kirm yadi gor ken long no dong de na te ka ngai kam dan le ro de ko gui ken no yer ken Dr. Machar ka ta dan gui ken je an state media chicken lado ne ken Dr. Machar ken members ni ti chop ko barotin ko kien ko ma de dial ka badak laji kuma spelayo ken trial ba jo penen wala ka freedom all ka juba la kuma chicken lado ne ken ba ti dial ba ka broadcast ne dial content la ne kien are which in winimi especially ken bukan to ka 9 am la tabung right now tabung on jen ngani de badak already so ngoda ken content kon lat garodian ken kon na ngach ta kamani ta bangwan amte jen ngani de badak still kan benyal ka do badan biken case me biken real keja not yet ko jikan la da gwanu ne kan biken broadcast ka jodan jikan la gwasa me jikan la no de kan ba ka lok Kenya ka Uganda ka Ethiopia no biken case Dr. Machar biken deal no ne dial so agenda no ko jago de content kon lat ken ko gwasma de kon kelinga no media di enti kan use ko ba je linga ne diala family ni ki no redial mani ne diala wi ka South Sudan woni win monitor den ko goro jeno ba je dil ngaje gwanu ngum mi shoda lat exactly ka jen shenge dan e ci kurce to gaje tidda kama cha te ka titin wala ring machar kwa je blame ko general mi mum lanwer ko ngai content diala ti connection in equi 2013 e dan ci tok chirmen chalinga ne ko ken adio je misi update ya jeling ne bonachal ke National Salvation Front chicken kiri kan ko dur kan kiri men use tactical use equi 2013 e dana chikor che to gaje me chan wore ya na gare which ka juba but tel ramisha ben jogono genetic dur kan kiri kan ti win mon tel me chalat bade wale chikije te ko jen ebe Dr. Machar be je look an lugo meba lug mi jek so gentlemen jordan chanyo mulat ka gwazmen tamme med gorde lariye wa cha journalist ni dial cha ke deny access ko de ga chup ka venue ni SSBC karwade kene ko na chalat SSBC news wakane dial content cha ladano kenetin bitte ere logo mone ka jawdan jikan lade ken tele media mugur ken journalist ne rewi ke juba no ke press release banyo ga kel gwase me ka tadan jikan lad keje ken tele ram mugur ken mi bi wo gwada dana walu waje luktin except SSBC ke South Sudan broadcast television karwade so agenda ni kala tanam which mean that tele native broadcast live except SSBC abaje nywaka yekel en mandana chalat gwaza because report mi kana lat mi dongde konaling let's see ngu report mi teri kana lat gwaza me okay warga mi shik pay can release right now so chicken warga mi chicken release and warga gwi kona me netin content ten winami kana chicken media na dial chicken ka logo no bikan mi chena me bikana lat kana shikana gorno beteke media maybe broadcast right now ka jawdan jikalat gwasman de yenena no warga ma pay release no netin content ka kekel lat ken wonena kani on September 22nd 2024 dio jena wal but this is a statement michalele wal but kwaje release and wale condemn denial of court access for journalists. It undermines the principle of open justice and press freedom. Ray which in winami keneshi kana gor no take journalist mi ba no gare gwadamo gwadana na latke case dung Dr. Machatin chajo mo chajale de ken kenina me telem betuok chaje gorno bam chinem baje la de ken so chikana mi kana la sheme so mi jakon ko de kon tegengeje no shi kuma South Sudan chikan lokia court chikan logo no ba netin kon tin nang ko don wale ba kan nang re lok so je letter shane no gwaseme no look no biken net la journalist ni de kan de ka come access ko de ka chop re which and winami so mi chen na me dio je che chong ke che magwa la me gor ka fair gor ka jeno de je lingwi mon la tok chire men chikana gor ke je ko ba gu je ne dial so mi chen na me dio je metot lon take michalat gwasa me citizen voice media no jo chikalat gwasa me no dia bajanung ya dio je lief kani network dung South Sudan network me metot chi network me dit of course goreje ano de na de ke kalwang en case me as a reminder dung Dr. machar ken ne dangbarotin kokien tin konen cha yen re wichin winemi kir me yadit ko gikanan wo kan take connection ke jejen bor ke ngwanen wari te chi ko kana to kana sir shire me ngai kone no ne siang lan michi community michi ke nyen ke de chawya gor na kwer nan la kwer de nyimo den mala opposition party la gor jen wo bala ne jena mo ko do go but chi jena dan te kir me yaditen kir me yadit jena chi jena dan tetin jen mene nyana tama wo court case me we ko do dana gui kone ja gwasa mene tana chuba tama kata bangwan mitike jen die jude diok no anta bangwan mitike jen die diok karunwang ka do lat ke jen o de je tok no ke ta bangwan mitike 00 ka jo dana chalat ban ngode ken jo me ken lat okay okay jo lat kana gwasa me ala court case ngoda dio je ken ne ale ka gwano be let ko sentama me lat kana gwasa me ngoda ken ne lel but igala je court case proceeding of Dr. Riek Machar 10 and 7 other SPLMIA members right which in winemi gweje mandodian lat kana gwasa but not yet bejenung ye bane ko gor je no biajeling SSBC news can cheer to gonna but network dien the network dien che jeg and when a minute network dien dia che jeg dia network dien che jeg
يعني أدى لمقتل تلك الأحداث أدت لمقتل أكثر من 250 جنديا وتدمير ممتلكات حكومية وعسكرية ومن الذين لقوا حتفهم في ذلك
bayenong mandan lero do gwasa me in a minute ko gorjeno bana titi bana kay nwakel so michet kana me bana teke ngech katin konten lat karodian gor kona ban teke liang magwa katin kona lat ka gwada men walip kon mandan lero de alanetin kontin teka tin baluk bana dana chicken na melat ke bana je guikel gwasa mene take michora lat kanetin kontin dong to gwata mi bana men dan le roda tin bana je linkel baturne to ko ken ki video ne ken lat kan gwata bejene on yekos gorjeno biya man dan le roda biya ngach take lat ko rodian gwasa me to gorliang we can have okay. Okay, alone. All right. Bana titi bana kanywa kel ko stake te tuogan tama to talk tea back anong ye and court case many cause gor kono ban ngaje no ngumle roda let's see de kono me dene jangach okay alone okay bana dutin konti lat ko en gwasa bana keling so menen kono ma gwasa me amanda an keneta to to gwi konga tone ana beka no because we need to know what is happening there okay not like that dio je biaje nena me cause gor kono bana mandan le roda bana jangach gor jano bi kon tekangach kamanan le roda okay bejalat gwas me cause biaje kula ngaje no ngutu ogone na moni menen kono mo dio je de kono de kon kenen cause me le roda ntama ray witin winemi ta dan lat ke case me lat ke je iyo dong mishikete network me beje matan dong dio jen wo bia bikon la pelemet but bia man dan lero de bia ngai gwaseme okay anything menen yen magwaseme ne titi ano tenen yen gati kan nyur gwada menia olon.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Martin Justin Costi for the mic. Continuing with our moderation, the Freedom Hall, the opening trial against Dr. Riek Machar and his associates. Noted commenced. We shall get more information details when the program commences. The proceedings have not yet started. But now to give you highlights about what is happening in the courtroom. This is a special court being spearheaded by the country's judiciary. This is following the investigation from the Nasser investigation accusing Dr. Riek Machar and others for treason, conspiracy, murder after fighting erupted in Nasser in March this year, killing more than 250 soldiers, SSPDF soldiers, and General Major Dak. And it is being indicated in the Chapter 5 of the Transitional Justice in the Peace Agreement. In the individual involved in treason, conspiracy against the coalition government will face justice, and also they are accorded fair trial and avoiding the arbitrary detention. They are also accorded rights to defense.
Lienge magwasa me mandan le road and tama lamugin magwina life neti nenien kan tagwasa mo kanitin content cha accused ka kuma spilayo no ngai konen go malat kare wishin winemi ngai content kon lat karodian of course all of us ngai kon mandan le road le road magwasa me agenda ngai kon diale ano Dr. Machar kan ne dangbaro de ko ken cha ka gwan no ka gwan cha gwan ke jen menen jen magwasa mo gwanga ka ngo ken ikaneti tichi matin o ken wer wayami ajando brana gwanga ke jetel rin mala gondien kade ko ne ngaje gwano ene duor me lero by the way shire metwo kan tama bane ngaje nodi te ka tungwanung to lat karodien Cheremi she SSBC she karodien kapchong right now lo cheremi shi dunian chalet ngoda wokona wonyam so man pai kon lingwa se me ken neten konter to right till ne kuma spilai go chermen pai kon ling ken tiga ko de ken na me de ken broadcast live but la dunia la rodo we are cut short la rodo we are gege tiga tin fanya lo gor ken de ken no ne di al chermen chermen gaza but ken rodo kon linga gwa no so bana tinga jen wone ne en kume kirme yadit melet kene gor keno de ken Dr. Machar and when mo de kene yik yan by any mean. Okay, chana ben gwada.
Let's connect you to our colleague.
Okay. Lincoln madan le ro de ka gwasa mi bat kan ben. Okay. Ne return nen kon katine kaneten kon tin la tin la netin kon tin cha yen la Dr. Machar kenetin kokien but me to gwaza me dealing ala jodien cha George. That is why right now chi jodien cha George gwada dan en lokana lokatin but here all the charges shackling Dr. Machar jena monodio je shanen gwada mo denen jeni jento gwada mi ene michiwar ga chi to bone denen yandial so jan gwada dan en men lat ka lugo mo lat jetin ngai konen wodi enit duor melat kentem right now ka jan tam me kum kirme yadit ledeje ko che gorno be kum espelaigo ba woniam so na me di yenaling di ngai gwada me okay
Parties
okay Can I link him?
The order of the establishment of the court.
Yeah, Joe Dian Charling, ala network Dian Dio take a problem. But me le road gwaze me agent court proceeding to continent. Jen le road me no gwaze me.
The step number 2 is that we would like to read out the audience ground rules. First of all, before the beginning of the proceedings, we would like to be reminded that the law provides for public trial, meaning that the court is open to everybody. Including the media. However, the public has a duty to keep peace in the courtroom. Therefore, there is need to comply with the following. Number 1, the media houses are required not to conduct themselves only in accordance with the national laws. For instance, the Constitution, Media Authority Act, National Communication Act, Access to Information Act, Penal Code Act, National Security Act, and any other relevant laws in coverage and reporting.
Gwada lat ka gwas lat je court ka lat ka na do badana dong ala do badana by information ba ka linga je ne di al shirman ngai kona no re wichin winami cha gor no dong the information de ka ling ba ne me a public million ka ne di al so gor je no de jeling. Okay, hold on.
Number 3. No.
Jordan Tele.
To top. You just listen. Number 4. Phones shall be in silent. You will never be allowed to speak while you are in court using your telephone.
Okay, look at media corner ticket Guadamo K and media Chaguru Dong Baran but white key barrier but brand by beer.
Nobody is allowed to smoke.
Can I go no be mat katapka court? Okay.
Send away any media apparatus or any person who fails to observe the above requirements and may decide to go for closed proceedings or take legal measures against anyone who is not able to attend.
Okay. Milingan magwasa me jan court case dung Dr. Machar jelin kon magwasa me. So lat kana rule it in kon banale riga.
The prosecution is there and the defense is there because the court is going to take your attendance.
Okay, chiga teja no mine ideal to all the parties members kume SPLIO kume SSPDF ala kume kirma yadit so chiga lat so bana mandan to ban jelen kwa lenga jot ken.
Honorable Court,
Nash. On prosecution panel.
Good morning. Dr. Soprewane Lanu, Consul General Minister of Justice, member of the Prosecution panel. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Simon Mizan, Consul General in the Ministry of Justice, member of...
Your voice, please.
Sarafino Simon Mezan, Consul General in the Ministry of Justice, member of the panel. Thank you.
Filberto Maywood Maran, Consul General in the Ministry of Justice on the Prosecution panel. Thank you.
La network dien beje long network dan te ka beje long so lat ken ro dien en gwasmo lo tele network mi gwa network beje
Advocate Gabriel Mading Apache, a member of the Prosecution panel.
Sirman channel in Guatemala la ne kon burai ken kan kirma yadi ne kon shukel ke jan biken kezen biken ko ala ka sirman an kon ling no ala network Guatemala pour la network che joy ke jona che joy
Who? Phillips Anyang Hong, member of the panel.
Thank you. Yene dia la kono work Nuer Online TV channel. Thank you. Ko sha Gurian mani. Tell de ke yelong ko Gurian mission mani channel keling te dia to.
Jack Mayol Beauty Honor, member of the Prosecution panel. Advocate Ajak.
Ne talk ne kirmi yadit ne to content kwa kir kwa defend kan no shima ne tin content la ne Dr. Machar.
Advocate Martha Jeremiah, member of the Prosecution panel.
Ayan, kan ne content la prosecutors tin shunkel ke
My name is James Bond Michael.
ngai ko na luma no la court case ni chang no take tungwan bari dia la ka work ko ba ko ngaje no kangani kan ne to ko san case me shi ken buto within a day no biken case biken lana ba je ling no den ba min tin ba je ko ngaje no mu le rode
Second legal counsel your honor, Botoro CI Adio, member of Prosecution panel.
ko la ti je gwar ne de kon tin ka jangan dia no ki ka long ne de kon tin la tin ta ka case gare ma char ki tin kwa kir kwa de represent ka ja
Together, member of Prosecution panel.
ne la Canadian content la prosecutors ne de content ba da kama char ba je lugo ken ki ba de ma char ba je la no jen rami mo ci dur ci jala
Basilio Thomas White, investigator, member of the Prosecution panel.
Joe dien chapel Joe dien bueno gwa but enemy team channeling then bukona lat gwas me man yam ngai kona bane ngaje no en mulat ka me re witin wala ka juba ajene ji kona ngaje no chitwo ne ka jen pa doge da ron kin dangro jan dangro okay channeling
Appreciate Kashi on behalf of National Security Internal Security Bureau complaint. Please repeat. Captain legal, security, Risha Gashi, Apollo Musa, behalf of National Security Service, Internal Security Bureau, complainant.
Ramaran National Security Bureau. So jen pai rajan tama no pai kono link kanete kono shunkel ke kira. Within the court ke freedom hall kiraman channeling wala dia freedom hall dia ja o batin kolat kurin bakaling jen nandanan gorken ni di nyuro gwasmo kaneten kontin la team Dr. Machar
Your Lordship, Advocate Dr. Gary Raimondo Lienge Lobate, the lead defense team. Thank you.
Please speak one by one.
Advocate Dr. Gary Raimondo Lienge Lobate, the lead defense team. Thank you.
The defense team got a touch ko prosecutor Canadian Condila ne Dr. Machar sila mga ikona lo lat kan bika tadi dan mga ikana ke this case bikan lat bika lat kan dia
الأستاذ كور لوال كور المحامي
ajen kurlu al kurnu
هيئة الدفاع
ajen Ramadan en ku Dr. Machar ku je defend la defend law yerandit man chung kel ke Dr. Machar ajen ramkel mi wachi to ka cher ledna
Tombe Agustino Odo هيئة الدفاع
Ram me defend lawyer ka Dr. Machar ne din kon chung kel ka ring Machar
أستاذ أنيس تومبي أغوستينو عضو هيئة الدفاع
ke defense team ka Dr. Machar chiraman pai kon lenga tama shungan ke ki Dr. Machar ka court
عضو هيئة الدفاع. Who? Deng John Deng. Ustaz Deng John Deng. عضو هيئة الدفاع.
a defense lawyer. Ngai kone longa no ala look jamo chikon ngaje no ken all the charges chana kalin ka ko jen kwi kore dana chitwo
Ustaz Warnyang Kir Warnyang عضو هيئة الدفاع. Warnyang Kir Warnyang
Kir
عضو هيئة الدفاع.
a defense team dia ya jen kwi kore dana chitwo ka pai doke dan me ngai kon dia la
Rojina Akaryaude. Ustaz Rojina Akaryaude. عضو هيئة الدفاع.
dia defense team lawyer defense team ka Dr. Machar dia an shekamo
Next. شكرا مولانا.
okay de kono no ngala dit ko de kono lingane nan video but ngai kono ala ka live ko minat ko gwara dian and then charge no kan iti ko kenen kono kulati ke company ban bi ngai gwasa me case Dr. Machar chimenen yana ma gwasa me do badan tana ka je lat ka ngwa ka je ne to ka kan iti kono look kan judges ngai kon dia no be jan won case me there la peace there la fair there la transparency
The voice is not clear. This
Pot Kang Chol.
pot kang chul jen pairi do gwasa me dio je ci kon jor di konaling pot kang chul jen mo me te kuje mone ci konen mam pal dor jen mo shiane no ne
yes,
mam
not clear.
Mam Pal Dor.
mampal dor kenetin kon lat karodien chimji kon neno gwasame netin kontin lane SPLA yo pin Dr. machar kan chardin kan chanen gwasame ne
Gadwech Lampoch.
Gadwi Lampoch ajen chiro de lar gwasamo
Gadwech Lampoch.
Gadwi Lampoch chiro de lat
Camilo Gadmai Kel.
Camino Ganmai Kel ne Camilo
Kel.
Dr. machar chiro de jech
Riek Machar Taindurgun.
jen gan machar no machiane no jen chiro de je jone gan machar jen mo mi chi mai chi to bone no
Lieutenant General Gabriel Dob
Lam jen kuje miyo jen sia jore sia jele ngone
Lieutenant General Gabriel Dob Lam.
na jen Gabriel Dob Lam sia no gwado mo chero de lat no gwado mo ne Mading Yak Riek no ne yenge ti gwasame okay
Mading
Yak Riek ne de to kenetin dang badak diala konen cha yen ka Dr. machar kel chir me ngai kone tigre ti jen ram jog ram me Dominic Gadgo Riek nana gwar kan chot ken pingane dang badak tin content cha yen kel ka Dr. machar ko ku kare na lat right now ci kon ngaje no ka tin pol panken ci mi kon en gwase me duno ala court case ni chang la tam la ja nanga ko goro jano bikan all the procedure bikan ka gor no Nuer Online family la roda me gwase me tam biya ngaje no look me bej ci lung me tot ko ken leader content wena mo no ngai kone look me bej dio ja ci network cha road badamat dio ja okay bana lunjok ko bi ka lunjok gwasme ko madan le rode okay real kenero di aneka
we have done with the attendance, and then now we would like to proceed for the two parties.
men pilot tem kan issue not attendance kan mo ko ba ko ngaji no kan ngana te chiben gwalo ko
Is there any observation from each of? Yes. Your Lordship, we have an objection for establishment of this honorable special court.
na me objective okay chale objection
The Supreme Court of the Republic of South Sudan, Honorable Justice Dr. Benjamin Bagdeng, to constitute this special court for the following grounds.
so ramanen kono me kanite kontin mi dong tuna ko object like temi logo tamjene
Dorgon is governed by the provision of Article 103 read together with Article 104 of the Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan, read together with the provision of regulations, conduct of business regulations, which I read. This is here. Transitional National
network dien che je gwasame ban malat ka gwasame ne diti ganetin konti rach ko bikan mandana chala de kim yadi bikan lo
business regulations.
liebe jamat network dien jega malat kana gwasame sirme okay 1 hour
As amended 2021, read together with the revitalized agreement signed on 12
network Dian Jaga
of September 2018, read together
ngode
with incorporation of this revitalized agreement into our Constitution's Amendment number 6, 2020.
Milad kan magwasa me nyot ganana according to Medan Echa Gor ki Mecha Tang Rebuttal peace agreement and Dr. Machar take a chuang ko charge de suspend ba chere mangai kondiale la agreement e dana Echa Tanya la mi shiaram dana la kule la queen ateka game kel mi she watch and on you the general Rebuttal peace agreement mo and chejak so mi chere na mentama look at ring Machar and then dong da la wo chi malcho collapse. So again kule tekana mone ban ngaji no ne ne 2013 ne medane kwa mala kwa kalat tel mishalat mi mo mi shigwa me de ko la no te mal mishalat tel mal mishalat katele ramicha nyodo jinuti kare kan gwa de dane chi kor meche tokten ano tel ramicha jogan 2013 e kore togaje chu menatama mena na ben ko baring Machar baje benang retijien ke baje yene ka dwer mi chi to ko chi nwer waya mi shigin kaneten kontila denyu kume no kacha ko tolwi Dr. Machar no jaram nan te gadwere ko kane ko nuer no mo jala ko lar kanu na me tele fairness ya tin ka tele transparency so men nyu de jagwan go cha Dr. Machar cha na ngatijen nyu de jabon go even kir ma yadit bode je question ka taye dane shi na shi liu ko je kai 2013 ko dial jen 2013 to ngwan rudin ga je tele changdo dien network dien gwasa me cha jek no ko gor konde kon lat ken gwade kon keling kinet wagdien che jeg ban jaliba mat en court proceeding lin kon magwasa me bukon ngaje no go dong de reng Macha de je luka dana gui kan eja ko gui kanu miladani kani tikan ka chuong ka chi reng Macha che tika chuong no mone kel me lat kene no kani reng Macha che tika chuong komandan le rode Kering Macharan Mechalat enetin kontila jechen bor baje di laswide chirimana na gorkana kangai kondiala no na me chi tok ke che chong ko te dia la gor bagalat ko dob dana balat ke je chirongai kone ring Machar no kene kim ya di tiga malta ngwan yigen ga tain kan malta to ka malta de lot bon kir but ken kir kana ka lot no ne ka gwade dana cha mal cha tain ne che mengai kone ken kir kana mala mo kana je kon lot ko mal gwawo baje lot mi cha mal cha je tan ka South Sudan is ne dia lip kana kiren wo be mal mo baje tan jen ta dan kunal titin but kir che kan cha mal mo che je gor okay cha mal che je gor no dare je implement kamal ejen gor ko mo en ideal so metela mal tele dom bi South Sudan bon yam kaje ajen muku very important lungo no lugo me de je luka do ban gwane jen ashima do mi mo baje no kwala target ni netin content don gor ge jen ode kamal de kanalat anyong bana nga Dr. Machar chemal che je tan ke kum kirme yadit right she kana tan ni me dan lat ke timan peace initiative wa all this thing ke tichare la ke kir che gor no te mal me deben ka jen shol ne ideal. So most important thing be ngajene kir agent ka power ko bi malbe ben ka South Sudan agent bi na ring Machar ko da humble jagro ko Ramadan gormal but kir she gor ko kir she la official no chena goro benelet ko ring Machar kel amangaike ano bo gwa logan wala chimelin ko na me were lo ko ngai ko no jin mi sha ga gen gwanter la to ko che jikef ke je jagwat latin dia rig dia ko ni yo la ga bana yo je video and then bad decision we mon no eneme talk ke chong wala shi chong na men ngode wo kon ko woni am ko ngai kon no ngode teme network dien chagwa tel network mi chena gwa live ka network but still no tel mi choda na lat ke ko gor kono bantin konen la rodin gwa dum bana ke linkel not yet okay shere mi shi network dien chenyo ka mi jaga no cause network dien
objection on lack of jurisdiction of a special court to try His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar and the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan and his colleagues, the 7 accused. Your Lordship, Honorable Justice, the President and members of the Special Court, we act for and on behalf of the accused, His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar, the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, as the first accused, put counsel, our Minister of Petroleum, number 3, Lieutenant General, put Gabriel
Doblam.
Number 4, Mam Pal Dor, and my age mate, my colleague, Garwich Lam Foj. Number 6, Brigadier General Camilo Gadmal Kel, Mading Rek Yak, and Dominic Gadrog Riek, respectively. We submit this preliminary legal objection to this Honorable Special Court, challenging the jurisdiction and competency of this Special Court to try the above accused person on the ground of revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, and also constitutional immunity to His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar Dorgen, the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and constitution in establishment of this special court by the Honorable Justice President of the Supreme Court of the Republic of South Sudan, and violation of international treaties, conventions which South Sudan has assent, and regional human rights norms. 1. Ground for legal objection: supremacy of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan, 2018. The revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the South Sudan is binding upon the government under both constitution and international laws, and superior to the constitution pursuant to provision of Article 8, Clause 3 of the revitalized agreement, which is stipulated. This revitalized agreement shall take precedence over any national legislation, any existing agreement to the contrary, and in the event that the provision of a national legislation or previous agreement conflict with the term of this agreement, the provision of this agreement shall prevail. As a matter of binding constitutional incorporation, the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan under Article 5, Clause 3, Paragraph 1, Subparagraph 1, provide for the establishment of hybrid court for the South Sudan, which is stipulated that there shall be established an independent hybrid judicial court, the hybrid court for South Sudan. The court shall be established by African Union Commission to investigate and, where necessary, prosecute individuals bearing responsibility for violations of international and or applicable South Sudanese laws committed from 15 December 2013 through the end of the transitional period. Your Lordship, crucially, the hybrid court for South Sudan constitute the sole judicial forum visited with jurisdiction under the revitalized agreement to entertain allegation of violation of international law and other grave breaches of the laws of South Sudan attributable to the parties to the agreement. Consequently, if the Nasir incident is to be characterized as transcending
hybrid code down and let Mukar Kukunai let internationally regional
of international or national laws, then
look at the match lo lel je wi mon ko code men tan ko dung South Sudan ci code rar kal goro ken dangro de code mom chala bi code je established
the African Union of Human Rights. Your Lordship, the hybrid court has been designed and agreed to have its own bill, investigations, and prosecution mechanism. This is what His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar and his colleagues and the rest have agreed. Just as the revitalized agreement has primacy over all laws of South Sudan, including our beautiful constitution here, this beautiful constitution here, our constitution, the hybrid court is also envisaged to have primacy over all the national courts with regard to investigating and prosecuting serious crimes under international law and relevant laws of the Republic of South Sudan, which involve
hybrid court international tribunal and mixed court court mix internationally but tele jere wika South Sudan na me local court kwala gude kan no de je jako dera de ngaje wimon no de je lugwa ngai kan no ne tin ko la to la jala ke de non temene de ko la prosecutor gwa ne kan de let ke ga kem yadi kete ga jan pa de kelum la pa de kirma yadi den ko dara no wude man gorga je no de hybrid court de jere alaka me bi international community bi ko interfere tin me ya ngaje no de lumumba dara interfere ko mishir kana mene but right now we should interfere with local courts so
amendment number 6 2020 which is here, it is already here. It is respectfully submitted that the office of His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar 10 it is respectfully submitted that the office of His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar 10 Dorgon, our first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, as the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, together with the positions occupied by the 7 co-accused persons, derive their legal and constitutional legitimacy directly from Article 1, Clause 7 of the Revitalized Agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. Your Lordship, by virtue of these provisions, their offices and the mandate are a product of the peace accord, peace agreement, which form an integral part of the constitutional and governance framework of the Republic of South Sudan. Your Lordship, basically, any purported criminal prosecution of the said offense barriers outside the mechanism expressly provided for under the Revitalized Agreement amount to a fundamental infringement, violations, transgressions of the agreement, undermines and delicate process of peace agreement which we are yearning into, all of us in this hall and those who are outside. We were yearning into peace. We need peace in our country. We need reconciliations in our country. We need healing in our country. We need peace once again. Your Lordship, delegate any constituted breach, anything inconsistent with this agreement, which is incorporated into our constitutions by the heart of the people of South Sudan, constitute a breach of South Sudan and international obligations. We have an international obligation. Your Lordship, the provision of Article 8, Clause 3 of the Revitalized Agreement provides unequivocal terms that the provision of the agreement shall take precedence over any provision of the Constitution, Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan, and any other legislation of South Sudan which may be inconsistent with it. Likewise, these oblige all organs and institutions of government to implement and comply with the agreement in both letter and in spirit. Furthermore, the provision of Article 9, Clause 3 of our beautiful Constitution of Republic of South Sudan, 2011, as amended, provides that all rights and freedom enshrined in international human rights treaties, conventions, and instruments ratified or acceded to by the Republic of South Sudan shall be integral part of this beautiful Constitution. Your Lordship, these constitutional provisions elevates the revitalized agreement as ratified international peace agreement to the status of supreme.
We take a tung one to lat Carodian cause cook on a broadcast live YouTube channel, you know, Jalana Guru Bajorian Bajamut cause a ngay corner rule, la guada corner login cool can guardian cool no guaza may take a rule. Okay, there's somebody which command guada Mr. Translator, you are interrupting. Name rule and we want to be killing Gurujano be rule be careful about la rule in content take a kitten larga social media. You know, she live video she didn't broadcast and no budget link you. That is why link and a half of it. You know, no, be a link a lot can so just pay attention to call that can.
We are down of it, and this is the one governing our country. International. Since South Sudan, Your Lordship, we are members of UN as well as we are members of African Union, as also we are members.
Okay, malat kon magwasa me, you know, kanitin kontin teka this broadcasting kon magwasa me ne. Lakin shiramangai kon take tong walong to lat Carodian.
We are members of Northern Corridor, and also we are partners of East African Community, and you know, Article 6 right together with Article 7 of establishment of East African Community stipulates adherence to fundamental rights, rule of law. Any criminal proceeding instituted against His Excellency, Dr. Riek Machar, then here, outside the framework of the revitalized agreement, disregard of the hybrid court for South Sudan, envisaged under Article 5, Clause 3.1.1 of the agreement, are ultra-various, beyond the power even of the Chief Justice. Above, it is unconstitutional, it is illegal, it is unlawful, and therefore it is null and void ab initio, without any legal effect. Therefore, they continue, pursuant of this trial, by this Honorable Special Court, which I respect it properly, I respect this Honorable Court, the constitute process of this trial before this Special Court not only lacks jurisdiction foundation, but also places the Republic of South Sudan in manifest breach of its obligation under both domestic and international laws. For the avoidance of doubt, the revitalized agreement signed on 12 September 2018 in Addis Ababa remains valid and binding, and no derogation therefrom is permissible without express and formal abrogation in accordance with due process of the law. Number 2, jurisdictional and procedural objections on constitutional immunity of His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar, our first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan. First and foremost, we want to bring to the attention of this Honorable Special Court that the instance of preliminary legal objections pertaining one of jurisdiction of this Honorable Special Court is that the legal objection meant to terminate an infancy or as well to nip it in the bud without wasting the time, dispersing unnecessary energies in considering unworthy or fruitless matter in the court proceeding. If, in other words, forecloses hearing of the matter in order to save time. Your Lordship, Article 103 and Article 104, Clause 2 of the Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan as amended, read together with the provision of Regulation 62 and 63 of the Transitional National Legislature, which is here. This is our Constitution, and this is here. This one. Read together with the provision of Regulation 62 and 63 of the Transitional National Legislature, Conduct of Business Regulation 2013, amended 2021, provided that the first Vice President shall not be subjected to criminal proceeding while in office. Except upon proper removal of immunity upon a resolution passed by a 2/3 majority of all members of the National Legislature. Article 104, Clause 2 of our Constitution read as follows. The Vice President may be removed by the President or by 2/3 majority of all members of National Legislature. The provision of Regulation 62 and 63 of the Transitional National Legislature Conduct of Business 2013 as amended 2021 entitled Immunity and Impeachment of the President, the First Vice President, and the Vice President. Regulation 62 read as follows. Impeachment of the President. The President shall be immune from any legal proceeding and shall not be charged or sued in any court of law during his or her tenure of office. 2. Notwithstanding sub-article 1 above, in case of high treason, gross violation of this Constitution, or gross misconduct in relation to national affairs, the President may be charged before
got a link counting what network didn't take a math, so
the Constitutional Panel of the Supreme Court in the Republic of South Sudan.
Network DN
And upon a resolution.
Network DN Jaga, so they don't palping Kaliang the Manan Le Roda.
Passed by a 2/3 majority of all the members of the Assembly. Clause 3.
There is a network, Guasame Jaga, network din Jaga, so just wait a minute, Liberton control. Okay.
The President of the Supreme Court shall within 7 days after receipt of the
impeachment the network Jaga
notice referred to under sub-article 2 above constitute a tribunal comprising 3 justices of the Supreme Court to evaluate the allegations in the notice and to report to its findings to Constitutional Panel of the Supreme Court. Number 4, Clause 4. The President shall convict Regulation number 62, 63 of the Transitional 2013 as amended 2021, which read as follows. Regulation 33, removal of the first Vice President and the Vice Presidents. The provision of Regulation 62 shall, with necessary modification, apply to respect as here is. When does a court become competent? A court becomes competent when it is properly constituted as regards members and qualifications of the members of the bench, and no member is disqualified for one reason or the other. Number two, the subject matter of the case is within its jurisdiction, and there is no forfeiture in the case which prevents the court from exercising its jurisdiction. And three, the case comes before the court initiated by due process and upon fulfillment of any condition precedent to exercise of the jurisdiction. My Lord, Your Lordship, any defect to these 3 points on competence of the court is fatal. For the proceeding are largely, however, well conducted and decided. The defect is extrinsic to the adjudications. For the above legal points 1, 2, and 3 go together in the circumstances of the instant case, the 3 points were not fulfilled for the following ground. 1. The Honorable President of the Supreme Court of South Sudan has no jurisdiction to constitute a special court in case of the first Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Riek, our first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, which is subject to impeachment upon resolution passed by a 2/3 majority of all members of National Legislative Assembly, provided in the provision of Article 104, Clause 2 of the Constitution of South Sudan, read together with the provision of Regulation 62 and 63 of the Transitional National Legislature Conduct of Business 2013 as amended 2021. There, the order of establishment of this Honorable Special Court by Honorable the President of the Supreme Court of South Sudan is ultra-various, beyond its mandate. It is unconstitutional, it is illegal, it is unlawful. There, the sitting here is wasting of resources and time. That beyond his jurisdiction for him in the provision of section 16(4) of the conduct of our criminal code of procedure. The only power of our President of the Supreme Court is only to constitute or to establish a special court for trial of juvenile offenders. These are not juvenile. To form high court to preside, convince of preside, the special court to be presided over by the high court or any senior justice, which is not the case here in the case of the first Vice President. And number 3, a high court judge may convince a special court. This is not relevant. It is irrelevant. So, which is to play that the President of the Supreme Court may, by order, constitute a special court for the trial of any accused under chapters 4, chapter 5 and 7 inclusive of the penal code. Number 2, lack of a resolution passed by 2/3 majority members of all members of the Transitional National Legislative Assembly as provided in Article 104, Clause 2 of the Transitional Constitution, read together with the provision of Regulations 62 and 63 of the Transitional National Legislature Conduct of Business 2013 as amended 2021. Therefore, the arrest and detentions of the first accused, His Excellency Dr. Riek and his brothers, were carried out without lifting the immunity, rendering this proceeding unconstitutional, unlawful, illegal, and void ab initio. The right to be tried before a competent court, independent and impartial tribunal, is guaranteed under both international treaties ratified by the Republic of South Sudan and the Bill of Rights in Part 2. Bill of Rights is here in Part 2 of our beautiful Constitution, from Article 9, through Article 34 of our Constitution. It is about the Bill of Rights. It is about human rights. It is about the due process of the law. It is about the crime of the will. Number 3. Relief sought. Wherefore, His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar and the 7 accused persons respectively pray this Honorable Special Court to order in their favor as follows. Number 1. Order this Special Court lacks of jurisdiction and competence to try this matter, and therefore null and void ab initio pursuant to the absence of fulfillment of the requirements stipulated in the provision of Article 104, Clause 2 of the Transitional Constitution, read together with the provision of Regulation 62 and 63 of the Transitional National Legislature Assembly Conduct of Business 2013 as amended 2021. Number 2, order the immediate discharge, release, and go home of His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar and his brothers from this court, and let them go home from today. Let them go home and have the business to do their job. Order the immediate discharge of His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar, the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and the 7 accused persons for being arrested and detained unconstitutionally. Number 3, Your Lordship, any other relief this Honorable Special Court deemed fit, respectively submitted, date today, 22nd day of September 2025, Defense Advocate Dr. Gary Raymond Lienge, Lobate, the lead advocate. Number 2, Advocate Kurlu Al-Kur, member. Number 3, Advocate Deng John Deng, member. Number 4, Warnyang Kir Warnyang, member. And finally, Advocate Anis Tombe Agustino, member. All, thank you so much. Thank you, my lordship.
Raj Mugwa Chajalat ka do badana be case ba proceed ka je che da kuma cha je defend no kan cha ka yen kan lawful ka do mi mashajan mishi te kan wat an wat ndana chalat gwas me jena kan wat kan ka gor netin kon tila kume morai ke kirma yadit kane cha da kuma cha ka jen gor jeno de da kuma cha kan ne dang barotin kon ya yen kel de ka dilun gwadana cha yenten kani man cha yen ka je kane chi tok ka tele chuang mudeten ajam ten kon lat kan gwasma leba kamat
the application of the defense. Now we would like to give chance to the prosecution to reply.
Yeah, ala prosecutor bikan man pailar temme Dr. Machar defend lawyer bikan le loch do badana charik Machar cha defend kaje ko kala no unlawful do badana cha yen kaje ni chana jeling manan bakalat gwasma
to reply to our colleague to get what he has raised of his objection. This will be represented by one of the panel advocates. I mean, in writing or verbally. We will because
lip kon mandan bukan lat gwasme ne content chunkel ke kirma yadit lip kon jodian ko bi correct biya mandan bukan lat gwasme biya jaling network didn't take a problem amat leki network take a gwasame costin kon lat korodin o bakaling lakin gor kan jen go de kan mandanen pailara tem de kan lo different lawyer dung dakring machar ka do branan charai keje cheladen wo sharing machacha yen ka do mi machajen jen gor jen o de reng machar kan all is colleague de kalon de ka wucin ka de kan business kon kan galat de kan ko lat jet ka kwimal ka la negotiation of peace agreement tinde kan wala let ko na mo lat ching mudid ba kan man cha ka yen ka je kan che to ka che chong ku je mo gone no kan de ka de lun ko da ko ta ka do mi mo de mal de lat ka je jo me ka defend law yare ning da kuma charge men shaling na won she can right ni to wan kan galat ko kwet kan kume kwet kan der ko man cha yene de ti kan che chong no ngode kan ano ke videnite new do reng machar kan team le chika dwer chika na
yes give you a snapshot and then
leng madan le rode jagati gwad men o yen be alana je ka jawdun wala chiaja gor komen pay lele teme chaja gor kume ki ne kontin kwa dakama char kwa je defend chikana gor lo de lo ni janyok ka do brand chikan gor ga je ko ngai kana gwan go bi defend lo yare bi kan ta danan chi doro lar ke je bi kan lat ina mi cha case den chaje ga lo telem tok tin teme and then ba case ba je ga ba je le nyoko mi je ga kor ju ko ki konin da wona ka pay bo so de ga rodien lo ko de kan case de kan lo study kenyam yo mi chigulu njoko de ga rodien kula ben nyoko mi al ka rodien ka ko men pay ladan teme bi kan le nyoko mu kare de nyoko ngi kan nyok no ki bi kan lo jang gwaso mon jen kwala tije no chia gor ena mo wala bi ala je ka jawdun dio je bi kon ling tama am bro lat gwaso me network te kare kaka network take a problem atot ana ko gor kon de kon mandan le ro gwa de kon ling channel live na mandan le ro de en case me le ro de men tamere which ka so Sudan en wala ka shanka bangwan ka shanga jandang rewi ro ka pay bangoron cindang ro jandang rewi diich gwada dan en cha de ma char cha yentin kan ne tin county la GSP la iwo re which ka South Sudan
we object to this oral
ya chaje luko te mishia nena watch kan chi ko object
they shall recommend reform strive to protect public and private rights advise on legal issues and shall render legal aid. This is a constitutional requirement. It is mandatory. It is peremptory. If we are not in a state of emergency, there is no any state of emergency which allow private lawyers to come. They are all there and they are competent to do the job. Not anyone who is private. That's why we are here. Therefore, I call upon this honorable court to send them out to sit outside there with our brothers who are sitting there. And because to appear in this honorable court is a constitutional right, we don't object on that. They can move from here and sit with our brothers and sisters who are outside there. Thank you, my lord.
Hey.
Okay. Let us separate between two things. See, you are now like raising another point of objections, which is, in our view, will be a separate point. As for the reply, we think, as they told us, that they will provide a written reply, and now he's giving us the summary of that reply.
Sikola no ken kana gordob dande kan kulu ben lo keje ko chiguru relaka ko ga constitution me chador chaja gonden biaman dan dong di defend keje biaja lat barana to telwe chawul yo bia nyolar bia discuss nen bia lu rech bia belat so chan jeni
defense objection. My Lord Justice, the first ground of legal objection is on the supremacy of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of conflict in South Sudan, 2018. It is the argument that the provisions of the national legislation
or previous agreement conflict with the terms of this agreement, the provision of this agreement shall prevail. My Lord, this argument finds no basis in law. First, there is no conflict between
network
the revitalized agreement and the law, so as to invoke the provision of Article. In terms of competence of this court to try the first vice. It is a prosecution argument that this court is competent to try the first vice president. My Lord, presiding justice and justice of the special court, Article 123E establishes the structure and hierarchy of a judiciary. And under E, it empowers that of the Judiciary Act 2008. As to the rules that shall apply to such other court as shall be established, my Lord Justices, of this special court, my Lord Justice, Article 126(3) of the Transitional Constitution 2011 as amended provides for paneling of special courts. That in case of criminal or civil matters, there shall be panels of 3, and when they sit as a constitutional panel, there shall be at least 9 justices, where the Chief Justice shall be presiding. The same provision is reiterated in Section 11(3) of the Judiciary Act. It is based on this narrative and sequence of law, my Lord Justices of the Special Court, that this special court is established by this order of establishment, reference as JOS, in CJ, J, AO, 1, 2025, dated 1st September 2025. Under Section 16(4) of the Code of Criminal Act, it provides that the President of the Supreme Court may, by order, constitute a special court for trial of any person accused under chapters 5 and 6 of the Penal Code Act. My Lords, as you might have seen in the charge sheet, the offences with which the accused persons are charged are all under chapter 5 and 6 of the Penal Code Act, which are offences relating to offences against South Sudan, as well as offences relating to the armed forces of the Republic of South Sudan. The same provision, the same reality is reiterated in Section 44 of the Code of Criminal Act, empowering the Chief Justice to constitute this special court. My Lord Justice, the arguments that this court lacks competence to try the first vice president. This article provides that the Supreme Court shall exercise competencies as follows: have criminal jurisdiction over the vice president, the speakers of the National Legislative Assembly, and of the Council of States and the justices of the Supreme Court. It is the assertion of the defense that based on this court, the special court is not a Supreme Court and therefore lacks competence to entertain this matter. My lord, this argument is weak and lacks substance. The members of this special court are all justices of the Supreme Court and therefore competent to entertain the matter by virtue of the laws as stated. Even if the powers given are powers of the High Court has unlimited jurisdiction. And therefore the crimes committed based on chapter 5 and 6 are within the competence of the High Court powers.
Million corner magwasa me kukana defend audience ta dan dong de lugu ka jengam. Okay.
There is an argument from the defense team that Article 126D deals with the office of the Vice President. We argue that Article 126 deals with the office of the Vice President. The fifth accused is not the Vice President, but the first Vice President. It is the argument, of course, that under Article 1042, he is not to be impeached. This is their language. He is not to be removed by virtue of Article 1042 unless there is a decision passed by 2/3 majority of all members of the National Legislative Assembly. My lord, this is a misdirection to this court. This is not a session to remove the first Vice President. This is not a session to impeach the first Vice President. This is
malat kan magwasa me ta dana cha ka gwainga jeno ken chicken da kuma cha chicken suspend ka duomi ma shajen ke cha da wai ka tele je ka constitution no mo na kan te tin men wo de da kuma cha de je wo
with his office or removal from office. Notwithstanding this argument, my lords, allow me also to assert this. That Article 126D
ring machar charge nyot pot kan ka dial gar dang badak dial cha ga nyot gwas na kashi ko rach dan.
The fifth accused person is not the Vice President but the first Vice President. Article 104 establishes his office. Article 104A and Article 104B.
Yes, Dr. Machar ke pot kang ke Gabriel Doblam Canadian Kokian Chakan North.
These powers, functions and responsibilities. My lord,
network DN
Article 126G of the Constitution was not amended specifically by inserting the word first Vice President in the text to reflect this new reality. 92 of the Constitution was amended by inserting the words first Vice President, for Vice President between the words President and the words National Council of Ministers. The fact that this was not done with Article 126G of the Transitional Constitution means that it was not intended to
the network Tekariagone and Kajan Tago Tagaman welcome to
the first Vice President, hence the competence of this court to entertain this matter. My Lord Justices, it finds no support.
And welcome to
welcome. Under Article 103(1) of the Transitional Constitution or the revitalize agreement on the resolution of conflict in South Sudan.
Network Bejagaka.
First, my lords, immediately provided for under Article 103 is for a president and is in clear Constitutional Amendment Act number 6 of 2020 defines presidency to mean the president himself, the first vice president, and the 4 vice presidents. However, goes ahead to define the president to mean the president of the Republic of South Sudan. These definitions, as stipulated in the Constitution, my Lord Justices, clearly demonstrate the fact that the two are different and distinct. Immunity is a creature of statute and law. Notwithstanding this, immunity is not an absolute privilege. Even the President of the Republic can suffer a charge in cases of high treason, gross violation of the Constitution, or gross misconduct in relation to our national affairs if there is a resolution passed by the National Legislative Assembly. Secondly, my lords, under the revitalized peace agreement, this argument has no legal basis. Article 1.4.3.5 of the revitalized
Network DN
agreement,
Jaga.
Article 1.4.3.
Network DN ngode Jaga. So
5 of the revitalized agreement.
Lui kene jawan chala nin defend lawyer ne recording kwa Dr. Machar kene team da kwa defend ne titini te right ne kene te konti la prosecutors kene te rajatama ano
Provides for the incorporation of the revitalized agreement into the Constitution. Was not amended to extend the immunity to the presidency as a collegial body, but maintained as a privilege to be enjoyed by the President of the Republic alone.
network DN Jaga so la ba liya ba dong mi guji mishirna me so biyan mandan lat kene biya kululinga gwa.
If it was intended to cover the first vice president or the other vice presidents in the presidency as claimed, Article 103 would have been amended.
So Lienge na gwaza mani ko the only vice president and Charlie and Dr. Machar
Access was being incorporated into the Constitution. That was not done. My lords, to bring provisions under (62) and 63. My Lord, with due respect to how we do not take this
network DN ngoda Jaga ko de kono lat kurin de kono kulaling ngoda loy keneja quick kono en court case bateka tan damde wala tawal kel meteka wal bakel ngoda run
provisions that speak to us not taking zealously our obligation to provide hybrid court competence in this particular matter. And
my lord.
justices of this Honorable Special Court, I will take response. Let us first assert that the Special Court is
one
of the courts under the judiciary of the Republic of South Sudan, constituted by the Chief Justice, who has authority brought against suspects standing before this court, tantamount to advocacy or advocation for impunity to prevail in the country. Why? Because South Sudan is a sovereign country having a functional government, and
full video dong sha de buje course la jen la ko milat ke je ka gwa ta me ka jen gwa gwi konatene jen be ka broadcast do dien ku kon le chere milet kon reaction kuma na le rode ken o nyoto ne janano ngum le rode re wichin wala ka juba ka South Sudan ka ta dan en lo ke dakring machar ka je ken ne dang baro tin ko ken konen cha yen kel ngay kona gwan ro en gwal ko dan lat ken walle lug mo go liang chairman ci kon ling gwasmani no en tam ci dio je ci kontene ke won kon ka tagaro de ta kelmete ke 57 minute ta kelmete ke minen jendir barro ci don minen dangro bo ka tane dangro ko to ga je ke ta bangwan ne man dan karun wang no en meni en tam tin konen chalat nere konen chi look chi left connecting kontila ne self care ma yadit neten kontila tilla prosecutor kane konen chi kezeni kana present kenyam and then charge object connecting kontila different lawyer ka dakring machar no chi kan tie kana kan ka do badana yen kering machar ka je kana mandan en charge wi ka je ka do mi shet ka constitution no de je wi gwalok I mean no de je wi ka kom de la first by president ken den yam den konen chi kan kalat gwasmene chicken Dr. Machar chicken different can it continue different lawyer carrying machar and no shiane no shikulu al kursharo kenya manin no chete karada dien machine yok burajanin and no latken madana dong lerode ki cha constitution cha bay keje and it in continue ne kirmi yadi de la ne continue tila prosecutory kan ngot kan ko kon goraken so shigaroj mandan and then cha ne ti jogono biaja loch ano cha ken cha de gujino don kan de loch ka gwada danan ko kan chalati chikate ngaganin duno chicken we wonyam ku kan rodian defend ka do badan en wo ke da rema char ka je ko chala do ka constitution charing ma cha cha de wo ke an male dan cha tan ke 2018 moje da rema char community mi din ma cha de yen ka ja mi cha de yen ga ja ka cha de nangwa lo ka je chit kamandan en lat ka gwatme nyok chaje de mo woj bokie baje suspend wi kamde jo mo je dan de tin jen muku ne ti je lat teme no te tin ka constitution en wo chaje gore no de rande je woj mo je kirme yadi te ka power ko de rek ma cha de ja kapin mi che gor bat ngai kon diale anu en kabran pin gore rach kenyam ko ken ke part goal to kula lane michal ke let ken michal ke transitional government ko mi na kula shub gwada dan ba ko in kwala tin dong de karudin kulo mat ko kuma kana kon mat kenyam gwada mene me we reng machar we ka vice president de jen wo cha chi kwan kirmi yadit ba don jentin ko kenet ko la peace party na cha kwa la vice president tirama me che chwara mandan en la man la president kirma yadit but ko chaje wo jene sha linga ne kana tanel yede no jene ko charing machar chaje wo nation ero da wo ko chaje suspend wa ring machar te ke immunity midin ma chaje de mun wo keje ka constitution ka jawda na chalat keje gwasmene so de kon linka do dan lero de je right now ngo network dien kan let beje gorno beje matki beje ya gwada menyok ko network dien te kerek me de kon dial de kon lat ko dien de kon ke linka je an wale shanka jandang rawi da ka pai bangwan ron kin dang rawi jandang rawi da diech cha lugo me cha je tung ga ta bangwan na kurun wang anta me tawul kel mete jandang rawi da raw ngode run wang ba ci don ta kel ki ci don men jandang diok widien badak na bawaka ta wero so na me dara gwa an wo de kon link do badan en len ngwaru din ke jam gwa semene ana chan je nyomu gur kon kel nyob ke chan je linkel
the jurisdiction of the hybrid court to crimes of genocide,
okay.
crimes against humanity, and war crimes.
Canadian kering machar ke duer ki ko kore dana shoda lot
and other serious crimes under international.
ngode wa duer ko na chala de ring machar gwada malat kene ka duer ti baj under international law no ko dong chi ring machar tine ke chi gin na kieni ko la jejen bor ko jan do bana goinge ke queen and ko la nuer ke jene nuore ka jawrana chalat okay kachi mardi alan content ke jagwas me live ka YouTube ka Nuer Online TV channel be ngaji no ne dakang ma chatele speech mi chatop jen chi roi ne jen chati ne ka shoot kenen la attendance code attendance chi ka right no chira ma shoot chi kana lat wona ka podcast chi ka right tin Gabriel Doblam kan dial chi ka right ngode network gen showkel network gen ngode jega gwada danan tegatin
misleading and contrary to the statutory and constitutional mandate of this court.
The prosecution, when they bring the response in writing before you continue.
Chaga jogono cho la je ka jodun alaman sia gorno nge baje
bil non. We have given them copies of our snapshot. If you want detailed one, we can provide by after lunch. Or tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning we can provide because we have details of maybe case laws which we need also to print out
peace agreement and chata kan kore de alaka de jen la argument tema
must be full defense reply please
most obliged my lord
after lunch
tomorrow morning
kan bikan no ngurun kan gore alaka wala kan ri kon la tin la prosecutor tin kwa kim yari kwa defend ke kuma kan gore alaka ka shi ne tin kontin la defend lawyer ka da ruma char de yen mamun de ne gwata mo so ba ko la ro be ne wa ti bo ne am channeling
reply so that you continue tomorrow.
I do agree with the Honorable Special Court because we are not in haste. We are laying a foundation to this country, the rule of law.
Thank you.
La prosecution kan ko la ka na jen jora na shabar gwas mu dio je bukan e kan barun bukan warga anda na shabar man bukan lo nyirun ko gorga jen writing okay na den je ci court case to Jowlen kono mo gwaso me cha cantinetin content tilla a prosecutor kan paper dan dong kan ko do ke kan ling dioje ci case cha to til ci ko tele evidence ci kan ganyu don right now ko cha ba ti ko la peace agreement but tele me ci kan
دكتور ريك مachar النائب الأول لرئيس الجمهورية موقوف و7 من المتهمين في قضايا تتعلق
So ajanan yana montama jekan kanetan kontila kwasa mo lador chato shirgama linkon magwasa me neten kontin don kwa kim yadit kwa defend la take timya tiga mekan kana lo right now and then cha case charge chu on no don deja gak ajanan yana montama dio je jen kan lawyer man prosecutory on a coach case chi kanman dan na men don chikana tish kim jikan lat kana kon loch right now ngai kon nin go neten kontin la ti cha tini kenyam defend lawyer ni daking machar no kan long mulu kan dikalaro bukan wargan bukan gel nongurun ka jodan cikan lat gwasame alo barun dioje ka tadan cikan lat keje kan ni bukan all the information ke writing la ko chajo no yen man bialat no ngaje in paper but kan no ngano mo so cha guni jano bi case but ngwada mo dioje yok runwang ka ta bon wan yok dioje bukan nyok mugur kan ka tadan chalat keje gwasame no Okay. Dio je tu Arabic chimenen yaname si case che togama de lo tele to gori share laka okay chan jawmling
colleagues. For more details, we'll keep updating you. Then we'll give over to Martin Joseph. Sorry, Mori.
Okay.
Thank you, my colleague Lena Osman, viewers and listeners of SSBC, to hear this first.
Okay, miligyan mo gwasa me chi mandan lat ko gwada me cha tuok chi remen chiangach anu chi kume ne de content kwa dak machar kwa ke present gwasa me ki prosecutory anu kan mandan kan longa mulo ken dia je bal gor je run chi ke cha tuok no dia je shaling ni mandan ti cha ti ke no te ka tong wan ta cha nyon ken yam to gor ken wo de lo ke de ko lo ne din content la ji kume spla yo pin dak machar bat kan netin kontila ne ke la prosecutory so jan ta dana tuga jan ono ngai kon la tuga no case kon ne chang makana kon wo gwa de ko lar no ci do banyam ci we gwa ka ta dan ci lat ke je lar ke netin kontin lanne spla yo lar ka ketelo ajen ci ane no ne dialte lo ina da longo gwa da modio je amagwa le rejoice mugwa lung madana chalat gwasame chimenen yen mo gwatamo kachilo ina tet ka tadan en chakanen keje kati jen chimenen yen mo gwatamo so to lwan midida long ko shi neten kontin la chencha yen kel ke darma char cha kes den cha tugan wala kachi kona chunen an go chilo den chatet ko kantin la kezen yam chirmi chek cha we kel ga kelong ano kan ke chika tinte dit chiken ka tite kan long mo loy ke chimenen yen mo gwasamo ne no so kujamo telo de longa de diala content charwanti shaka gorka Nuer Online TV channel ani chamu gwalung dioje because we continue run chirmana ngai kone meredian gwas membia ngach tin chala de walle chirkemen chikone li namandana no en case en lugadan loka gwadame gwike jen go case mudong de latka peri kiremi chachu nena walle dioje jen tugde but ba continue run men yam bianga de no chato gwadame chinetin kontela ne ke prosecutor tin chunkel ke kirmi yadit chiken nyinken ka present no chika tin chala de ring ma cha chiken kala de go tijek no china nyo go ka do badanen chi net kontela defenlo yore ka dakri ma cha chi nyo mo raiken chanen bo madan chikan lat gwas meni chiken mo gwane jen chiken lat so dio jen wala che we gwa ke dakri ma cha ke timdien ko chika come prepared ka tin kon lat ka rodian chiken like peace agreement dan chikana kwen kelu wona ke constitution no ka chare realika banetin kontin chungala ka kedda ke kirmi yadit kan mishit kamana na gorka kan ka realka chikala ne jeno bi kan no ngurun dio jerun ajen ba lel ke jamoni dio je chabia wal chikala court case ba je gorun chinetin wan chilo je te dalon chiremen chanen ka godana right kantin jan dana gore de nyoga yekel dio ja bana chongo gwata me chilote the long family Nuer Online TV family kata dana gurien roini ka jagwasa me ani biate kamal bana nyoje kala radian erun ke yo katin kon bila tuok bantin kon chalar gwasa bana ka woling but first ke chetok na me jen koderi nganyam ka changa jandanga ro ka pai bangman ro kin dangaro wi jandanga ro di ani biate kamal